So yet another African American was killed by the police this past Sunday. This time it was a 20-year-old man named Daunte Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. He was killed in the middle of a traffic stop. This traffic stop occurred because apparently Minnesota has laws against dangling objects from rearview mirrors like air fresheners, which Daunte had in his car. So you can say that the reason this tragedy occurred is because Daunte had air fresheners dangling on his rearview mirror, and that was essentially the catalyst to him getting fatally shot by the police. He was resisting, and then a female officer wanted to reach for her taser, but instead grabbed her gun and shot him fatally. She swears up and down that it was an honest mistake, but if you're a cop and you can't tell the difference between feeling your gun and feeling your taser, you're in the wrong profession. You should not be a cop at all, and it deeply concerns me that, assuming this is even true, there are cops out there that don't know the difference between how their gun feels and their taser feels, and that makes me feel even less safe around cops than I already feel. But to be honest, I think she's full of shit. I think she pulled this excuse straight out of her ass in a half-assed attempt to get some heat off of her. After being shot, Daunte drove his car away in an effort to flee from police. He ended up colliding into another vehicle, and that presumably killed him instantly. But that's just my bare-bones synopsis of this tragedy. If you want the full story, you're free to look it up. But the reason I am making this video is because I have seen all over on social media, more particularly Twitter, conservatives scrambling to find any justification they can find under the sun to excuse his death. Just last night I saw some conservative posting the picture you see on the screen, juxtaposing it with a picture of him holding a gun, saying, this is what the media wanted to see Daunte Wright as versus what the real Daunte Wright was. Which, alright, cool, he's holding a gun in a photo, he was no angel, you got us, which is essentially the point they're trying to make. Daunte Wright was no angel, George Floyd was no angel, Breonna Taylor was no angel, Jacob Blake was no angel. I don't give a shit about these people's pasts. When news first broke of George Floyd's murder, right away conservatives were scrambling to dig up his criminal record, his prison time, the fact that he helped carry out a home invasion back in, 2005. When they do this, they are arguing against a straw man, because I have seen no one say George Floyd or any of these other people who were unjustly killed by the police were perfect angels throughout their whole lives, they never did anything wrong. The point is that they didn't do anything at that point in time to warrant being killed by the police. And now they are doing the exact same thing with Daunte Wright, bringing up his armed robbery charge, again showcasing pictures of him with a gun in his hand, and I've even seen some conservatives make the argument, well, maybe him dying isn't so bad because he had a gun in his possession at age 20, so he illegally had a gun in his possession, so again, him dying maybe isn't so bad after all, even though these are the same exact group of people that applauded Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old who illegally crossed state lines with a weapon with the intent to kill BLM protesters. But oh wait, that's the reason why they applaud this kid. He shot at and killed people they didn't like, so that absolves him of all of his sins. Meanwhile, Daunte Wright deserved to die. I wonder, why is it that you people are sharing around these photos of Daunte with a gun in his hand as a gotcha against the people who are outraged over this tragedy? It can't just be because of the gun in his hand. You people love posing in pictures with your guns all the time. Any chance to show off your gun collection, you lunge at. Maybe it's because of the color of his skin, because the point you're trying to get across is Daunte was a worthless thug, therefore he deserved to die. That's certainly the picture you're painting, because again, there are plenty of pictures of white people posing with their guns all the time, and you people are like, well, that's just a respectable gun owner, nothing wrong with that, but then you see a picture of a black guy wielding a gun, you start to get all scared and make all these baseless assumptions about the person. Maybe it has something to do with racism. Maybe that's why you scramble for any excuse imaginable every single time an African American is killed by the police. You like it when these people are killed by the police. Just take off the mask already and be honest. Because there is absolutely nothing in that body cam footage we saw that even remotely justifies what happened to Daunte Wright. You can bring up his criminal past all you want, say he's no angel all you want, but nothing in that point in time justifies him getting fatally shot. Resisting arrest should not be a death sentence. I hear this all the fucking time one of these stories breaks. They were resisting arrest, they got what was coming to them, shouldn't have resisted arrest. Since when was resisting against the cops a justification for dying? You people sound like authoritarian lunatics every single time you use this as a justification for someone unjustly dying at the hands of the police. Obey the cops, or else you lose your life. If that doesn't sound like the characteristic of a dystopian hellhole, I don't know what does, but anyways, I know I've probably brought up the "they were no angel" argument in the past, back when the George Floyd protests were at their peak, but it bears refuting against again, and it warrants its own video because I've seen this so many goddamn times. Again, not only with Daunte Wright, but every single time a black person is killed by the police. They were no angel, they were no angel, they were no angel. So that warrants them having a knee pinned down on their neck, getting fatally shot, being shot in their apartment because their boyfriend shot at the police, not knowing they're the police, or anything else that results in their death. Again, the past of all these people is completely irrelevant to me. Same with all the people who are outraged over these tragedies and are currently protesting and rioting as we speak. The fact that they weren't perfect angels throughout their lives is completely irrelevant to me. I do not give a shit. The fact that at that point in time, when they were killed by the police, they did nothing to provoke being killed by the police is the problem that I have. Because ultimately, Daunte Wright died because he had air fresheners dangling from his rearview mirror in his car. And let's be honest, this was definitely racial profiling. I'm willing to bet that there have been so many white people who passed by these same cops with air fresheners in their car, and they had no problem whatsoever. But the minute they see a black person have air fresheners in their car, they think that is cause for concern. Maybe he has drugs in the car. Maybe he has something to hide. All these other stupid, baseless assumptions that result from stupid internal biases that so many cops in this country have. But go ahead, keep excusing the death of a young black man who died as a result of having air fresheners in their car. That totally does not set an awful precedent at all. It's also really funny that now that yet another big story of an African American being unjustly killed by the police breaks, you're all of a sudden on the side of the cops again, even though just some months ago right-wing nutjobs were revolting against the cops at the Capitol, and you had so many conservatives watching at home, cheering it on, but all of a sudden the cops are the good guys again. Yeah, totally. Conservative hypocrisy knows no boundaries. But with all that said, all cops are bastards, Black Lives Matter, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.